Hello, people of Connecticut Common Sense. My name is Selena Rifkin. I am here with my fine co-host, Jason Douglas, and we are here to talk about current events in Connecticut and the United States.
What's
So
left of it?
easy there,
No.
Jason. Jason's
Okay, okay.
he's a little frustrated about the
Well, I'm frustrated with things. We'll talk about it though.
yeah. So I wanted to start off, and we are both a little frustrated because we actually recorded a very nice episode yesterday and I lost it. Oopsie. Don't ask. Sometimes tech does not do what it's supposed to, and I was super frustrated because we had a good time yesterday. So now we're going to try and repeat that, and who knows how this is going to go.
You know
So
how that goes.
yeah, you just never know what you're going to get. Um, we yesterday we talked a little bit about this situation
Aha.
with Maha. Yeah, we were talking about
Yep.
Maha and health, and there is a situation which you may or may not know about that we have beef prices are very high, and so the president made an offhand comment on his flight back from the Middle East about how, oh, we'll just go buy some Argentinian beef. And let me tell you that the ranchers in the United States were not happy to hear that. The reason for that is that we are at the lowest production of beef we've ever been in our nation's history. And the reason for that is that the USDA puts ridiculous, insane, stupid restrictions on on producers. They can't slaughter or process on the farm most of the time. I mean, there are some states, it's some ways you can get around that and that sort of thing. It really depends on how you do it. The laws are a little different, but the big problem is I saw a post on X the other day, and there's a New Hampshire processor who was waiting 2 years to be able to process his stuff because the big guys, there's like four processors in the United States. Two of them are owned by Brazil. And that's insane. We're talking this is a national security issue. We got to be able to
Mhm.
feed people.
Think.
So they need to change the rules, and there's two ways they want to do that. The first is it's an act that will allow, you know, people to slaughter on their own farms and have their own facilities. And they're much typically those are much cleaner than what you're going to get in a big facility because
Right.
smaller quality control, personal responsibility. How cool would that be?
Mm-hmm.
And the other is country of origin labeling.
Mm-hmm.
We deserve that. As you know, we deserve to know where our meat is coming from, and we do
Right.
not have that right now. And I personally am happy to pay more and buy from American farmers. I particularly like grass-fed because that's the most healthy. It's
Yeah,
got the
of
most
course.
nutrients.
And
So,
that's what they're supposed to be eating, right? I mean,
yeah.
they feed them these grains, and it's not even natural. It's terrible.
No, no,
People
right.
should buy locally, local beef, right?
Ideally they be, buy locally. I've bought, so you can do this thing called cow pooling if you want to get really quality beef.
I like that term,
I
cowpooling.
know, it's great, isn't it fun? I've done this multiple times. I haven't done it the last few years, but what you do is you get a group of people together because we do it to buy like grass finished beef. And it'd be
Mm-hmm.
like local farmers. I bought from New York and Maine and locally in Connecticut. So there is a farm that the farm we bought from was I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the name, but they have a little shop right down in Shelton, right down in the center of Shelton.
Okay.
And the name of the farm will come back to me. But yeah, so you get a group of people together, and three of us would eat about, get about a quarter of a cow, and it's going to be mixed. You're not just going to get fancy cuts. You're going to get
Grass
hamburger.
fed.
Yeah,
Oh,
grass
grass fed.
fed,
Yeah.
grass finished. Because most cattle, they feed them grass when they're young, and then they send them to the slaughterhouse, and they're grain finished.
Mm-hmm.
And the grain is a little problematic because while it makes more fatty meat, the cow's gut bacteria is not designed to handle grain. Cows are not supposed
Oh,
to eat grain. And so what happens
what are
is
we doing? You know,
well, it's convenience. It's convenience for the
about money.
slaughterhouse, you
About
know.
money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It's about the money and how fast
Yeah.
they can process this stuff. And so what happens is this is how you end up with E. coli in your beef because
Oh.
E. coli is very happy to live in a gut that's processing, cow gut that's processing grain.
But
It doesn't live in a grass
what kind of a system allows us to feed our people in mass food that's going to make them sick? I mean, what are we doing? Our
well,
kids got a lot of work to do.
Jason, I've been asking that for 20 years.
Yeah.
And this is, I was talking about it and I was anyone who's interested in natural health stuff, I would look at the Weston A. Price Foundation for Traditional Foods. And I'm not going to go into who Weston Price was. All I'll say is that he's a dentist, and the organization is very good that way. Just don't eat the fermented cod liver oil that they recommend. Just don't do that.
But you were
That's the
talking about how the grass-fed meat beef takes a little getting used to eating.
Yeah, well, it can be a little gamier, although not always. It really depends on the cow. You're
Yeah.
gonna have a little bit more variation. Slow cooking is definitely way to go. You don't want, please do not, cook your beef, grass-fed beef all the way through. Unless you like shoe leather, because it's gonna be tougher. The cattle's gonna
Yeah,
be
you want a
tougher.
medium or medium rare or
Yeah.
whatever, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you do. I mean, and there's actually books out there on how to do this, and I'm sure you could find stuff on YouTube now. YouTube, the sum of all human knowledge. So,
There's here's another thing about healthy food though that I had mentioned that see what they put in like Big Macs or regular processed food, a lot of chemicals that they're literally
oh,
designed to stimulate your taste buds, to
oh, yeah,
make them to
yeah,
charge them up and make it taste so good. That's why Big Mac tastes so good. That's why
yeah.
these snack foods taste so good and regular potato chips, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you eat organic potato chips or if you eat a burger that's organic, from organic grass-fed beef, or it's not going to have that strong taste to it. It's going to taste more dull to you initially,
Right. Well, it might,
right?
I mean, they put MSG in this stuff half the time,
Yeah.
you know?
But the thing is what my understanding is, if you stick with it for at first, it's just not gonna taste as good. Period. It's gonna want you to go
Definitely.
back to eating the junk again. But
Yeah.
if you stick with it for a few weeks, that your taste buds will adjust to the way the more natural your actual taste buds,
Right.
because your taste buds are part of your nervous system, are part of your five senses, and they will adjust to it. And eventually, this stuff will taste wonderful. Like if you first eat a grass fed, you might, oh, maybe a little gamey or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Just stick with it, and after a while, it'll taste delicious. It'll taste like it's like just like it's supposed to you.
Yeah,
You know.
absolutely. When I
Right.
first got off sugar, and I was like, and I did that in 2000. So I've been off sugar for 25 years. I'm not saying I don't eat it occasionally. Yeah, I'm not a purist. But that was when I got, because I was an addict. Oh, I was such an addict. Total addict.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, total sugar addict.
I was too until earlier 2024.
Mm, yeah, it's
Uh,
well, it's an addiction. The sugar goes to the same place in your brain that heroin does.
yeah, it does, and I think it could be argued that it's almost as strong. It's a very strong addiction. Sugar is a
Oh,
sugar addiction.
it's right up there with nicotine.
I mean, I literally had knew in 2022, 2023. I knew I had diabetes. I was still drinking heavy drinks and things like that.
Hmm.
Literally, I could look back at that and say, was I, you know, trying to kill myself or something? I knew I wasn't doing that, but to drink something that bad for you when you know what's wrong. It's the same way someone who does heroin or cocaine, they know it's bad for them, they do it anyway. I knew the sugar was hurting me, was going to do damage. Luckily, I was able to mitigate it. It's used early in 2024. It was a New Year's resolution.
Hmm.
And I didn't quit it completely, but between January of 2024 and December, the year of 2024, I reduced my sugar consumption by over 90%.
That's good.
So, yeah. And
I
now
think
I hardly have it at all. So that's even more
I'm
so.
trying to the average. I'd have to look it up again, but I have a master's in nutrition, and when I did my thesis, I think the average consumption of sugar in the U.S. was something like 150 pounds of sugar a year. I mean, that it was insane. And I wasn't eating any at that point. So I'm like, somebody else is eating mine. I mean, that was the average. And
Yeah.
that's terrifying.
Yeah, you're supposed to have like eight to 15 grams of sugar a day which you're supposed to be getting. And the
No,
average
there's no
American
supposed to
gets,
be that. You don't actually need that.
No, but it's considered to be a okay level. I guess that's the level.
Acceptable. All right, I'll go with
Yeah, an
it.
acceptable level. Like, yeah, you
Right,
don't need any sugar really,
right. Yeah, you don't. Yeah,
but
you don't need any.
you do need like natural sugars though. You need some
No,
kind
you
of
don't. No, you don't.
well, okay, then you don't. But
No.
my point is, 8 to 15 grams a day is considered an acceptable level, and Americans average about 70. Was a lot of Americans had as many as 200 grams of sugar a day,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Yeah,
that's like that's way out of whack.
yeah.
That's what I'm getting. It's
Yeah,
too
I
much.
really I commend people. I mean, I've been coming across they changed the feed on X and now I'm getting all sorts of other stuff that I never used to get. And I came across this, it's been coming across photographs of people who are like losing weight. And there was one person who was down like 193 pounds and they still didn't look great, but like god damn, that is a lot of damn work.
That's a
And
whole human being they
that's
lost.
that is an adult male there. And
Yeah,
yeah, not me, thanks. I'm a little lighter than that. But, nothing. I mean, hey, losing,
that's an average adult male, though. Yeah, it
yeah,
is.
I mean, come on. It's like somebody was like, "Oh, don't show me this anymore." It's like, "Shut up, asshole." So I'm saying the bad words now.
Yes, you
But
tell
I'm
them.
like, that is a lot of damn work. It's really hard to do that. And people who are working on it really need like cheer for people who are doing this for themselves because they're helping
Mhm.
all of us by, changing the standards. And
Yep.
there's like, here's some people who we're not going to have to pay for so much health care. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, we have a being a free country the way we are. It helped America become the greatest country in the world. It is the greatest country in the world, but our freedom is um, bad actors can use the freedom that they can
Yeah.
have here
Yeah.
to do bad things. And just shift gears for a minute here a little bit. Um, I want to talk about local politics in Connecticut a little bit.
Oh, please. Yeah. You want to talk
Um,
about The Rock and Danbury?
sure, get me started on that one.
Oh yeah. Okay. So someone through, I believe it was, I don't know if it was the campaign headquarters or if it was actually the RTC headquarters in Danbury. And someone threw a rock and broke the glass. And it's like, oh, this is exactly where we want to be. No, no, no. This is, we don't want to see this in Connecticut. We don't want to see, because this is just how the violence starts. Oh, I'll just throw a rock and nobody will catch me, and then what happens next? Oh, I'll just shove this person and it'll be fine. No, no, just, oh my goodness. That's
Well,
terrible.
one of the frustrations that I'm having today, I didn't have yesterday, that I now have today. I've had it all along, actually, but I need to make it clear.
It comes and goes. The level
Freedom
of,
of speech is not limitless.
hmm
Okay, we all know, we've all learned in school that you can't yell fire in a crowded theater because it incites chaos and potentially violence, and people get hurt. Well, we have an entire coalition of Democrat senators,
hmm
uh, mayors, governors, representatives in Congress, a
Yeah.
coalition of a dozen or more, I think more,
Yeah.
that are 20 or more that are doing exactly that. They're yelling
hmm
fire in crowded theaters. And what frustrates me the most is we're just letting them do it.
That is
And
frustrating.
and it's causing a majorly bad situation. Now, I posted actually on X and I believe on Facebook and on I think on Substack something I saw on Fox a few days ago. A white guy, was a former governor of Colorado, old white fart. I don't. I wish I remember his name. I should have looked it up, but it's on my post.
hmm
It's a part of the Mark Levin show,
hmm
and this guy, this sicko, was saying that he has a plan to destroy America, and it was an 8 point plan.
mm
And if you look through the 8 point plan, and if you Google former governor of Colorado 8 point plan, you'll probably find it.
hmm
Or Mark Levin, throw that in there, and you'll find it. And this is it puts sends chills down my spine. But one of the things that one of the 8 points was to infiltrate and control local town councils, small towns, suburban towns, city councils, and city boards of education. And I think they've been doing that. If you look at some of the disgusting decisions that have been made by so many of our local town councils, Here, even here in Connecticut, especially, local boards of education allowing pornographic books into our schools for elementary school kids. Are you kidding me?
Hmm.
Is that local town councils and local um, governing bodies around Connecticut allowing children to be mutilated in hospitals without their parents even knowing about it?
Hmm.
Okay, these things are way off the map, and these are things that I can only imagine a council or a governing body making a decision on if there's bad actors in there. Nobody wants that. People aren't in favor of that. I find it hard to believe most registered Democrats in Connecticut want that kind of stuff.
I found it if you want. His name is Richard Lamb. I
That's the guy.
I went looking and I have the list if you want any of it. So, and it's very creepy. And he wants the first thing on the list is making America a bilingual, bicultural country.
Right, replacing what the melting pot, which he calls the salad bowl,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. He
which
wants,
means you have a bunch of separate things that don't mix together versus the melting pot, which is what America is supposed to be. So yeah, these things now it it makes you cringe when you read. I'm sure you're reading them right now, and it makes me
yeah.
cringe.
Yeah.
If you
That's
don't
different.
mind, repost it on the maybe we should repost it on the Connecticut group so people understand. We need to understand the context of what we're facing here so that
Mhm.
we can take it on. It's good to know the quote unquote enemy's plans. And this guy's an enemy, okay? The guy that wrote this,
Mm.
all
Yeah.
right? And the people that are following it. Now, if you look at what this guy wrote and you look at what the Democratic, so like guys like Pritzker and guys like Gavin Newsom and people like Letitia James,
Hmm.
okay, are doing, um, Chuck Schumer, Dick Blumenthal, Chris Murphy, our Connecticut goons, it follows this plan. So we need to know what we're up against. Like it's important for people to get out into. What I'm getting at is one of the 8 points there is about is taking over local town councils and local boards of education. It is important for MAGA people who forget about MAGA people who love America, people who love this
Uh,
country. If
yeah. If
you're an
you like your
American, you
country the
love
way
this
it
country.
is, we
You want
can't
to grow
use
up
it
in a
here.
free. If you've produced children or you have grandchildren, you want to see them grow up in a free country like the one that we grew up in,
Yeah.
then you better get active and you better, at the very least, go out and vote Republicans in and vote these goons out. And I'm
Hmm.
talking about local politics. I'm talking about, unfortunately, we only have 2 weeks left, less than 2 weeks now before
Or,
this next set of
or yeah,
local
our
elections.
municipal
But
elections.
it's not too late to go out and vote, though.
It is not. It
It's not too late for that. So get up and go vote in your local elections. These local elections are more important than you would think.
They
We
are.
get we probably get about a fifth or maybe less, probably compared to a presidential election.
You remember what the numbers were for New Haven?
Yeah, like they have 120,000 people, only 10,000 registered voters, but local politics get 1/10, I think, I believe, of what
Hmm.
the national elections get. So we need that narrative needs to change. All right, we need to take control of our local town councils around Connecticut.
Yeah, and that's probably why they put these things on and off here.
Yeah,
I think it's probably deliberate. Oh.
that's a very good reason for that. You're right. Maybe there should be some changes in some bylaws and some election rules too. But
Hmm.
yeah, we got to win seats. So, and people need to start showing up. Look up your local RTC, your local town council meetings, and forget about the RTC. You're looking up your town council meetings and
Yeah,
your board of
they're
education
their own
meetings.
issue right now. But
Yeah,
yeah,
start.
go to your town council meetings, go to your board of election meetings, go to your zoning board meetings.
Yeah, start showing up at these things and making your voice heard. And if you are so inclined, start running for positions in these. It's too late for this election, unfortunately. But coming up, we're going to have another set of local elections in 2027.
They're
I
usually
think
about 2 years.
every 2 years, but I think a lot of them are every year too. Because
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
when
not
we have
sure.
the elections next year, every year when we have the
Hmm.
national elections and statewide elections, we also see local signs out
Right.
there
So
all the time.
it's probably varies by town.
It probably does. Some are 1 year, some are 2 years.
Hmm.
But look into it and start getting active in your town and start getting common sense politics into your local town councils because that's where one of the places is the Marxists that are trying to take over this country right now, and they're here and they're trying to do it. Um, are looking at local town councils as one of their power bases, one of their ways of seizing power, because they know that people have more control locally.
Yeah.
So we have a real fight on our hands, people, and people need to on our side. People who love America need to stand up and fight back. Voter booth, get involved. Go to RTCs, go to DTCs. If you're a Democrat, the Democratic Party, I still find it hard to believe that most of the Democratic registered voters want some of these things that are being espoused by their far left wing radical leaders. And so take back your Democratic Party and make it into an American party again.
Hmm.
Not an American party right now. It's
Yeah.
been turned into a perverted Marxist party.
JFK would not recognize the Democrat
JFK
Party.
would, yeah,
Oh my
JFK
God.
would not. Notice how they haven't tried to cite JFK this time around as
I
much.
noticed that. I
Yeah, because they
noticed.
know we got them by on that one.
Yeah, that's, oh my God. Yeah.
It's the outright lies that are being espoused.
Mm.
And one of the biggest problems we have is our national media and our local media too, for that matter.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, here's another problem I'm having. We're allowing rogue federal district judges to continue to make rulings, stopping the president from enforcing the law and directly resulting in violence and deaths in cities like Chicago, where a judge just today delayed. He doesn't even have the authority to do this, but he's doing it anyway, and we're apparently abiding by it. And that's very frustrating for me to hear. The judge just delayed Trump's ability to send troops, a power that Trump definitely has. We all know that he has. But yet, a local judge in somewhere near Illinois has said, we got to wait 30 more days. So we basically have a local district judge making a
Hmm.
ruling saying that the president must let Chicago burn for another 30 days while judges work it out. That's not what
Well, there's
the
no.
founding fathers were intended on.
Mm,
Okay. And it's very frustrating that we continue to. Teddy Roosevelt had rogue judges, go against him, and
mm.
he said, "Hey, you made your ruling, you can enforce it,
Oh, because,
right? We
yeah.
need to get the troops into Chicago and fix that city. People are dying in there."
Well, I mean, I'd also like to see some, and I don't know what we do with judges that are on the bench that clearly don't belong there. There was just in New Hampshire, and it was that some a judge that's on the New Hampshire Supreme Court. This woman was, they charged her with favoritism because her husband came before the court with it was some, I don't know what the ruling was about, but she was like, they said no, you shouldn't do that,
Mm-hmm.
and then they just kind of tossed it out, and she's back on the bench. There was no consequence for that whatsoever. And I'm like, wow. And I do know that we have a Supreme Court judge in Connecticut who has said that their intent, they are a leftist judge, and they've said it outright.
Yeah, we're not going to go by the Constitution. We're going to go by what I believe is right as a leftist. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know. He has said that. He said it in private, but he said it.
yeah.
So we have to know what we got work cut off for us, and local politics are very, very important. They're
Hmm.
very, very important. They're almost as important as the national scene. Really, it's
And
one
we're
of the
not getting out of this. It's like, I know it's like, I just had a great chat with somebody who moved to Tennessee. And it's like,
Mhm.
if you feel like you got to leave and go be someplace that, you can improve the likelihood that there's going to be more representatives from that state and fewer representatives from this state, from a hard blue state. Okay, great. Com I'm not going to complain about somebody who needs to do that, because there's all sorts of reasons why people move, and it's a huge thing.
Sure.
However, if you're moving because you're trying to get away from the bad blue state, then you're deluding yourself, because this stuff is everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you go to
Oh,
Texas.
it's everywhere. Yeah.
I mean, come on, Texas has Jasmine Crockett. Give me a break.
Yeah. Oh, it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Everywhere. So
But we are. But here's
take
the thing:
off
we have
where
to
you are.
realize
So
it's everywhere, but it's not the majority.
no, no, and we're not even
Not the
sure it's
majority.
the majority here. So
Not the majority here either.
yeah. I
So
mean, even
common sense politics. That's why we're can't get common sense, because the 80% of us are not in favor of these far left wing
yeah,
agenda. They're not.
yeah.
80. It's
Mm,
not close. Well, but what they've done though is they've managed to foment the 20% that are honestly either completely ignorant or mentally ill.
mm.
The ones that are walking around on No King's Day last weekend, there's no King's business. Look, do you notice they're all older white ladies and men, and they're all like
Yeah.
hardcore liberals, and there's no black people there.
Nope. Nope. In New Haven, there was no black people in the
There's
march.
no black people. Like these people
None.
are. They're. It's almost like they're trying to relive their. Some of them look like they're old enough to be '60s protesters from the '60s, and they're probably trying to relive their
I
old
think
glory days out there. And they're
I'm
just
not sure it was somebody on our feed was talking about how this was actually an activity for senior centers, that it was like it was a way to get people out for the day.
yeah.
So yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's silly, and again, they're protesting something that doesn't exist.
Hmm. Yeah, that's
But this part of this Colorado thug, whatever you just gave me his name again.
yeah,
The guy, yeah, I don't even want to know what his name is. I hate the
Lamb,
man.
I think. I think
Lamb, yeah,
Lamm.
yeah. So this guy, Lame Lamb, this is part of what this guy's plan is, though. So if you read I urge everybody to read it, even though it's going to
I'll
make you
post it.
cringe.
I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah,
Put it in
it's
the
going to
show.
make you cringe, but it's the strategy that they're using that we can use as a basis to defeat it.
Yeah,
That must be defeated.
yeah.
And freedom of speech needs to be interpreted the right way. We can't continue to let. I don't know how we can continue. I know it's bad theater to go and arrest a guy like Pritzker, or
Mm.
arrest a senator, right? That's going to look authoritarian, right? but but look. I mean, you can also say if you're a senator, does that mean you're above the law?
Mm.
Does that mean you have a system of justice where you can
Mm.
go commit felonies, which you're committing a felony when you're going on there literally telling people to,
Right.
you know,
Well,
to
you understand that there was just a large number of referrals for audits of of congressional representatives. I think it was 167 congressional representatives just
ones
got.
that are enriching themselves from.
Yes, they just got
Yeah.
referred for audits. I think 150 something of those were Democrats.
I hope Murphy was one of them.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice? We can certainly hope. Um, I still kind of think that whatever they end up doing, they're gonna hold back on doing Connecticut until later because I think it's so deep
Or
here.
is it the last on the list?
Yeah, I'm willing to bet. Although we did get some national attention, the vice
Yeah.
president actually made a note on X that
About
they were
New England.
noticing that New England is so
Yeah.
lacking in Republican representation.
Even though we have a significant Republican vote here.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So
and I think I have to wonder how much of the people who go with the independents, that caucus with the independents, that how many of those people would be Republican if our Republican Party in Connecticut, and I know it's messed up in other states too. I just don't know exactly how because I haven't talked to enough people yet.
mhm.
I have to wonder if the Republican Party actually acted like a real political party, how many of those independents would actually come and just be Republicans?
There were a lot of them, I'm sure. Even if they didn't register as Republicans, they would at least vote Republican.
Yeah,
And let's start with another thing is, that gets into. I think it's important for people to know what the real inner working dynamics are of the politics here in Connecticut and the Republican Party,
yeah.
because
And
it's
you
going
don't,
to
in a lot of ways, you don't know that until you start poking at it. Because
right.
you're
Like so,
not going to get it on the news.
you're not going to get on the news until you become involved in it, like Selena and I both have, and John, other people, and Court, other people that we know that are part of our team that have been involved. Um, you know, Court's been involved. Court Ratnowski, who does a podcast, his great podcast.
Hmm.
Uh, that we're going to end up podcasting. We're going to do a couple of joint ones, I think, at some point.
Oh, perfect,
Gonna be
perfect.
great. Yep. And he's was part of the Tea Party movement,
Mhm.
so he's not new to the game. But anyway, if you've been involved in it, you do learn a lot about what's going on that you
Mhm.
don't see in the news. And really what I've learned is that basically this. We have Aaron Stewart and Fazio are the two leading candidates that have announced to run for governor.
Right.
Aaron's in an exploratory phase, I guess. Um, and the bottom line, and as you might know, I've been critical of Aaron. Um, and I've been looking for someone I think that would be appropriate to run for governor here in Connecticut, a real go-getter, like a Trump kind of guy, like a star power thing. Someone like Megyn Kelly, I thought would be great to run for governor of Connecticut, right? I even got her cell phone number even,
Mhm.
but she hasn't answered me. So I'll have to let that one go. But we tried. There's a couple others. Kevin Nealon. I'm
Mm,
not sure what his politics are, but he's a Connecticut guy. Carl Higbee. Anyway, I haven't been able to find anybody like I would like. Um, but I think it's so I thought I've thought about running, but it's not a fit for me. So what I've decided is I'm running against Larson.
okay.
I myself am running against Larson. It's not officially announced right now. I'll just mention it real quick and we'll move on. But I'm already got a manager and we're already looking into filing and running against Larson in the first district. That's going to happen.
Okay.
Let's clean up a little bit. We'll get out there and get them. Now, listen, the thing here's the dynamics I want people to understand though. As you know, we have a uniparty system here in Connecticut right now. The Democrats have been in control for a long time. Other than John Rowland, they've been pretty much in control of this state for the last 40 years.
Yep.
Um, and when Rowland got in there, they sabotaged him. Okay. Um, and so it's the Uniparty, which is essentially a Democratic Party and a Republican Party that essentially works as a subsidiary to the Democratic Party,
Mhm.
essentially kowtowing to them. The chairman of the Republican Party, as you all know, Ben Proto, is basically just a Democrat. Okay, he's
Okay.
not part of our movement.
There's
Anybody who
there's
does
no
well
evidence that he's done anything to make the situation that we're in better. There is no evidence
at
for that
all,
whatsoever.
right? We can't even point to one area of strength, not even one.
Nope.
His record is so abysmal and bad that if a logical mind can't help but think that he's there to oversee its failure, to make sure that it fails. In other words, an imposter.
Right.
All
So
right.
let's just list 40 uncontested seats last election.
Yep.
A lot of whining.
Yep.
There's a lot of whining. Oh, we candidates. Oh, we have the right candidates. And it's like they blame this story that they have is they're blaming it on us,
Right.
average Republicans.
Average Republicans and the RTCs. The
And the
RTCs blame the
RTCs.
state. Everybody's blaming
And
each other.
how many RTCs have I have talked to a bunch of people, not every single town, because there's 169 towns in Connecticut. That's a lot of
Yep.
people. But I've talked to a lot of people now who have said going to an RTC meeting is like either you're getting a recipe for coleslaw
Yep.
or you're being totally dissed. Why do you want to be here?
Yep. Right. That's why people got to go to these RTCs in groups of 4 or 5 people, not just one or two.
Ideally, or
Ideally.
just be
Ideally. Yep.
really stubborn and keep showing up because you're entitled to be there.
Yes, you
Don't
are.
let them, don't let them
Yep.
intimidate you or drive
Strength in
you out.
numbers.
Don't let them because that's what they want to do.
Strength in numbers.
Yep.
So, given that atmosphere, this uniparty atmosphere, our movement is, of course, making every effort, and other movements around the state as well. And we're working to unify those movements behind a set of profiles we have online that'll help bring everything together to make the Republican Party into once again a true opposition party, a party, quite frankly, that stands for America. Here in Connecticut, it's sad that we're at this level, but that's where we're at.
Well,
Um,
that's on us.
it is on us. We
It's on us.
voted in. We're the ones that voted in idiots like Murphy and Blumenthal and whatnot and
Well,
Lamont.
even if we didn't vote for them, we didn't pay attention,
Well,
because
you got to
I
remember
think
they rigged elections. It's not all on us though,
yeah,
because they rig elections too.
they do rig elections, but they rigged elections because we weren't paying attention.
That's true.
We weren't paying attention. I sure wasn't paying attention. This was,
Right.
this
Well,
was,
they do these things in very clandestine ways that the
oh
average
yeah,
person
they
would have
figured
a
it
hard
out
time
later
picking
on.
up on. Right.
I
So
mean,
it's
I don't, I'm not beating myself up for my life choices here, but
right.
once you look at it and say, wow, if I'd been paying attention to that, it couldn't have happened.
True.
Would my life have been different? We can't go back and change the past, but we can do what we can to fix what's in front of us.
So, given that atmosphere that we're in, this uniparty atmosphere, if you want to run as a candidate, as a Republican, you're faced with, you should be faced with, joining up with your Republican team and taking on the Democrats. That'd be nice if that was how you have to run a campaign.
Right.
Unfortunately, you have another dynamic you have to get through before you figure out how to, as well as figuring out how to run against your Democratic opponent, and that is how to navigate the GOP, the Republican establishment, which is again part of the uniparty, really not your friend. In other words, there's different ways to handle it. And John DeBarros, who's running in the fifth, we all know,
Yep. And he's
um,
he's doing it
he's
on his own. He's not, I mean, he's
he
running
has
as a
chosen
Republican.
the there's 2 ways you can handle the state central committee, the DOP. One is you can stick your middle finger up at them and say, I'm going to do it my way. The hell
Mhm.
with you. Or you can kiss the ring and hope they'll help you along,
Which most of the time they won't.
which they usually will not unless you think they're one of them.
Right.
But if you're a MAGA person, guess what?
Yeah, the first thing they usually tell you is you have to be able to raise, $500,000 if you want to run for Congress.
That's a
It's like,
cop
well,
out.
that's just the minimum. And I quote, this is what Ben Proto says. This is what Jeff
That's just an
Rogers
attempt to
said.
scare you away, to scare you out
Yeah,
of
I
it.
mean that's the point. It's like,
Right.
and I'm sure they would like their share. So,
Well, they told John that they would. That's what they told John. They said you got to come up with. If you come up with a $500,000, then we'll help you. And
yeah,
the bottom line is, even if he had come up with $1 million, he probably will. They're not going to help him.
right,
So
right.
they're out to get him. They even trying to primary him with some woman named Michelle something, right?
Botello. Yeah,
Michelle Botello. They brought in to primary in an attempt to oppose him even.
right.
So the GOP is not there. So given that, say someone like me who's going to run against Larson, and then we have Chris Lancia running in the third against Rosa DeLauro,
Yep.
right? Now he has chosen the other path. He's attempting to, if he figures it'd be nice to Ben and just really kind of be a team player that maybe we can all just get along and Ben can help, will help him out, which I don't think will work.
No.
Um, so where does someone like me, or if you're a candidate running for a local office, where do you want to play it, right?
Have to go into the cities and talk to voters, which is something Republicans have never done, and which
Uh,
is something which is what Jonathan is doing. He's
right.
actually going into cities and talking to all the people that most Republicans find super scary.
Voters are the answer.
Hmm.
The voters, the people are the answer. The people are on our side. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, in the Republican RTCs, unfortunately, we're kind of outnumbered by the Rhino right now. Although we do have good representation in there,
There are some, I will say there are some good towns. There are
very good.
towns.
But
There are some good
when it
towns.
comes to the voters, though, that scale is so. When it comes to the RTCs and the established Republican Party, it's like the GOP is a stronghold, and the MAGA is trying to work into it. But when it comes to the public, it's the other way around. MAGA is in control. The people want to see the Trump economic policies here in Connecticut. They want to see CT Doge. They want to see Connecticut open for business.
Yeah.
They want to see MAGA principles, which, by the way, MAGA principles, make America great again, are conservative principles. They are principles, they are Americanism principles. They're principles of
Building
free
things.
enterprise,
There's
of economic,
maintaining things. So
yes. Okay, and there are
maintaining good
principles that
stuff,
promote
building more good stuff.
families. They
Yeah,
promote
families.
they
Yeah.
promote families, community,
Hmm.
camaraderie, and togetherness, and individuals, not based on color or gender or sexual orientation. It's not identity politics. It's based on we're all to be treated equally as people.
Right.
But that's MAGA, and that's how America was founded.
Hmm.
So really, it's MAGA and conservatives are almost the same thing, pretty much the same thing. And yet, which tells me that these people on the Rhino are really not conservatives. They're just pretending to be, most of them.
Hmm.
So that's what we're facing. And but it doesn't mean that we. The thing is like if you are thinking about getting involved and you're not sure what to do, get involved.
Yeah.
Get
There's
involved because
so many ways to do it.
the
There's so
people
many.
are on your side now. The people are on your side now. The people are ready. The election of Donald Trump has significantly changed the political atmosphere and everywhere in this country, including Connecticut, when it comes to the people.
Hmm.
Okay, guys like Ben Proto, thugs like Ben Proto,
Yeah.
are feeling the heat, and we have to keep the pressure on. Because if you read what this guy Lamb wrote, that's what we're facing, right? And we have to take that on point by point. Look at those 8 things. We'll go over. Maybe we'll go over them on another podcast
Yeah,
soon.
we could do that.
We can go through them and how do we counter those?
Yep. Yep. Yeah, there's so we have, in case you guys don't know, there is a organization to get voters registered that you could be involved with. And she's a friend of ours. Her name is Lorraine. And one of the things she wants to do is I guess there's a weekly protest in Bethel for, yeah. And she says it's kind of sad looking, and she wants some counter there when she's
Yeah.
out. And so I'm gonna go play when I'm in town. I'm not in town right now. And So, I'll go hang out with that. But it's like what she really wants to do, and what we all need to start doing is do what Charlie Kirk did and start attempting to engage these people in conversation. They're not going to respond well. That's
No.
just the reality. They're gonna, oh, I can't talk about that. I mean, there's video of people doing
Yeah,
that.
they don't have
I
an
have
argument.
friends who are doing that.
They don't have an intellectual argument. There's
Well,
no
they
logical
don't.
argument for Marxism. So,
Yeah, but they're not going to change their minds unless we keep putting pressure on them, and it has to be, I think it has to be face to face because they're not going to get pushback anyplace else unless we go to them.
unfortunately, a lot of these people that are out protesting, the ones that are not causing violence, that are just out peacefully protesting, unfortunately, I actually feel a little bit of sympathy for some of them because a
Mhm.
lot of them are just being the left wing establishment is fomenting the fear to
Yeah.
get them
Yeah.
out
Oh,
there.
they're
Some
really,
of
yeah,
them
they
really
were.
feel like there's a Hitler in the White House.
Yeah,
They're
they're really
scared.
scared. It's
Yeah,
sad.
I would be. I mean, if I thought there was, I would be too. And
Yeah.
I'm scared of the prospects of someone like Jeffries getting in the White House. That scares me.
Mm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
like Gavin Newsom in the White House, that scares the hell out of me. So I can imagine how. You know why? Because if they get back into that position again, they're going to clamp down 10 times harder.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's not going to be pretty.
We'll never come out of it without a
Mm.
war.
Yeah.
So if there's any hope of doing this without an outright civil war, this is it.
Yeah.
Get involved.
Yeah.
Get involved. You don't have to run for office necessarily.
Nope.
Those of you who feel the strength to do it, you do it. We need people to run. But
Yeah.
those of you who want to work behind the scenes, and it's true. Even just everybody has their little inner circle. Everybody has their little pulpit. The people and their friends and family around them. Start talking to them about these issues.
Yeah.
Use common sense approaches.
Yeah.
We're going to
And
come
like
out
I
with a lot
said,
of talking points. In my campaign, I'm going to be visiting all the RTCs in the 25 towns in the first coming up soon, and
mm,
we're going to be doing bullet point talking points that you can use to talk to your family and friends, especially some of the ones that you feel like got a little Trump derangement syndrome going on. I think some of these people, honestly, rather than yelling at them and putting them down, maybe we should hold some of their hands a little bit and say, look, it's
yeah.
okay. Look,
So,
look, these are the things that Hitler did. You know, Trump's not doing these things, Don't worry.
yeah. God.
Maybe we should do a little more like I've heard
Mhm.
about some places where they want to open TDS clinics and stuff like that.
No.
No, I mean I'm not even kidding. I know like
No.
it is a true derangement that's
Well,
being
there's
fomented by these people. And then something needs to be done about can't you impeach judges that openly make
you
rulings
can,
that
and
defy
I
basic
don't
jurisprudence?
understand why Congress hasn't been doing that, and I don't know, maybe I'm not sure what gets to happen during the shutdown. And I
Well,
don't think, I mean, they're still working as far as I know.
yeah, well I gotta wonder like if you look at the Senate, right?
Hmm.
They probably have a similar problem that we have in the state central committee. There's a lot of rhinos in the U.S. Senate,
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
and they're going to
Like
vote
Susan
like for,
Collins.
and right, and
I
they're all in favor
I
of
think
tax.
she's because she did actually vote for the shutdown this time. But
Right.
she was a big centrist in Maine. She's been around forever.
No. Well, I mean, they're all. I think they're all pretty much conservatives fiscally or whatever. But I think they have. There are a lot of them are bought and sold by by these. They're willing to do certain things. Unfortunately, unlike the Connecticut, they will vote unified for things like the shutdown, for things like the big beautiful bill or whatever. But when it comes to the real reforms that are really needed to get these people out, I think a lot of Republican senators in Washington are not going to go for it. Which is why that's the answer to your question: is why haven't they voted to impeach these judges? Why haven't they
Yeah.
done these things? Because a lot of them are just kind of playing the part, letting
Mm.
Trump have his
Yeah.
taxes, his tariffs, but when he's gone,
Yeah. Yeah. They're just, yeah, I do agree with you.
so we need. That's why these next the elections next year are so important.
Yeah.
You can't let you don't Republicans, please don't let MAGA people, don't let midterm hangover. The fact that Trump's not on the ticket this time, don't let that keep you at home. You've got to come out and vote these people out of office.
Yeah.
You've
Super.
got to strengthen this. I came up with an idea about the shutdown thing. Why not change the filibuster to 55? No one's thought of that. Because you're going to still protect. You know why? Because they set up the filibuster, and it's a good thing to protect the minority from you get
Right.
51, you can change the whole country. So it's good to have a filibuster. And there was a time in our country when 60 was the right number. But
Mm.
today we have so many more people, so the numbers are going to be closer to 50%,
Well,
right?
remember, they may, if they get, if they redo the census, which would be pretty awesome,
Yep.
that may solve some problems too.
Yeah.
Because, and this is like when this happened in 2020, I was like, and I remember asking then, it's like, why aren't you asking if we're citizens? Oh, that doesn't matter. I'm like,
Yeah, if we start doing things fairly and start redistricting the way it's supposed to be, then the public's gonna pick up a lot of seats in both the House and the House. And when
I
that
know
happens,
that's
they're
already
really
happened
gonna
in other
scream.
states.
The left's really gonna scream when that happens. But hey, that's
So
what's fair.
yeah,
They've been doing
I think that's
it's
still that's stewing in the Supreme Court right now. I think we're waiting for that decision.
yeah, we are.
So
But they've been doing it unfairly for a long time.
they have. And some states have
And
already said, oh no, we're just going to redistrict now. Thank you very much.
our district map in Connecticut looks ridiculous.
Oh, it's pretty crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty crazy. And I haven't even seen that, and until we don't have a super majority, um, this is like again, this is why we have to get involved because Connecticut, it's going to take longer because we have this super majority and we have to
Yeah.
get rid of this at a state level
We
before we
can do that. We can get rid of the supermajority next fall if we really next election if we really work at it. We only need pickup. We figured it out. We only need a very small number of seats to get rid of the supermajority.
okay. That would
9
be
seats
good.
in the state senate, and I think it's like 25 in the state house to get an actual majority.
Okay.
That's not impossible.
No, it's not. It is not.
If you've been voting Democrat for all your life in Connecticut, you need to really think about. You need to really take a look at the voting records of what these people you've been voting
What
for
they're
are
actually
doing
voting.
over the last 5 years, especially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really do. Some of these insane bills that are being put forth in the General Assembly
Hmm.
that are not constitutional, and we don't have a Supreme Court to protect us against those.
No.
In Connecticut, we don't.
No.
It'll take years to fix it on the national level. We just can't have that.
Yeah.
This religious exemption bit.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, what happened to, my body, my choice, or let alone my kid's body's my choice. So yeah, that stuff is, yeah.
Yeah. So look, people have to get involved. You really got to get involved. At the very least, if you're not able to get involved, you're too busy with your own life. You got to make sure you get registered to vote and vote.
Yep.
And vote for Republicans, vote for anything but Democrats, which are now Marxists.
Yeah. Anything, if you look on the voting lines, if the Working Families Party is running that candidate, the Working Families Party, for those who do not know, is a communist front party. And yes, that stuff still exists.
Yeah, and George Soros is one of the biggest funders of the Working Families Party.
Mhm. So, and
So yeah,
they were, I think were they on I know the Communist Party USA was funding the No Kings rally. They were like literally on the list of funders.
yeah, I saw that. You
Yeah.
know,
I didn't happen to see if Working Family,
there's a party called
but
the
it's the
New England.
same party, so it doesn't matter.
There's a party called the New England Party.
Yes, there is a party called the New England National Party.
Yep, I actually called them, and I got a guy who called me back.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna call him later and see what he
Okay.
has to say. I want to know what they're all about. I can probably get a feel for it.
Yeah,
But
find out if they have if they are, I mean, because I know they're really new, so they may not actually have, election access yet, but maybe, they might
find
endorse
out if they do. I could be on
whoever.
the ballot for I could do what they do. I'll be on the ballot for the New England Party
Right.
and the Republican Party.
Because we're allowed to have line items.
Hmm.
So,
There's also the Constitution Party.
yes, there is also the Constitution Party, and I think they get to have ballot access in Connecticut.
When I was a
Wow.
teenager or early my 20s, I think it was in my 20s, I
Hmm.
had a vision one
Hmm.
day
Okay.
of taking over the Constitution Party
Oh,
and
okay.
making it about the Constitution. Because even back then, I recognized, look, what's happened. The far left wing push we've experienced over the last 10 years has been terrible. However, the breakdown of the Constitution as it was intended by the founding fathers began in the 1930s
Yeah.
with President Roosevelt's New Deal.
Hmm.
That was the beginning of the socialist programs that began to break down the idea of family first America, not government first America, essentially.
Well, I
And
think that was
it's been
communism
going on in
started to
incremental
look really
forms.
tasty to some people. It's like, ooh, that looks really good. That was
Free
before
stuff,
I knew how bad it was.
right? So it's been socialism and left wing ideology has been slowly and incrementally advancing itself on our country, really from the beginning, but especially since the 1930s. Okay, It's only in the last 10 years it's become way more like rapid acceleration with this left wing and everything like that. So people need to understand it in that context, and that to fix it will probably take a long time too.
Yep.
So we need good leaders. If you're in the Charlie Kirk thing, if you're one of those Turning Point USA people and you have a lot of ambition and you've grown a lot of strength from what happened with Charlie and you want to make a difference, get into politics, start getting involved, getting yourself into office, move your way up the ladder. Eventually, you could be a senator or a congressman. We need people like you to, who knows, maybe president.
All
We need great people that think conservatively, great leaders to continue the after Trump's gone.
right. We
Trump
do.
is 80 years old. This, I believe, next year he'll be 80 years old. And JD Vance is a great guy, and there's a lot of good people out there. But the Republican leadership needs to stay strong because this battle's not going to end. And again, it didn't start 10 years ago. It started almost 100 years ago, and it's going to take that long to fix it. Quite frankly, maybe not quite that long. Hopefully, not quite that long. But it's going to take a while to shake off this disease of Marxism that's all over our country, and it starts in our local town councils. So get involved with your local politics. It's very important. It's very important, especially if you're my age or your kids are grown up and on their own. You got some time on your hands. You're
Hmm.
done raising your kids. You know what I mean?
Right.
Time to get out and get involved. And if you're 50 or 45 years old, you're just a baby when it comes to politics. You're just an infant in politics. Right? I'm 55. I'm like a teenager in politics. Right? So,
On that note,
are we there?
I think we need to be there because I need time to process this before I have to leave the house.
Okay.
So, all right, this has been good.
All right. Well, then, until next time,
All right.
God bless Connecticut. God bless America.
Indeed. God bless America. God bless Connecticut.
Bye now.